Snap shares for a spike, but then they turn lower on those declining daily users, and the warning that the user declines will continue. That, of course, outweighing better than expected earnings and revenue growth. On the earnings call, which is going on right now, Evan Spiegel, CEO of Snap, has been stressing the global potential for the platform. Take a listen.
We have a significant opportunity to grow and broaden our global community over the long term. But we have incredible reach among our core demographic of 13 to 34-year-olds in the U.S. and Europe. There are billions of people worldwide who do not yet use Snapchat. Continuing to improve our user experience and creating awareness about our value proposition are key drivers in growing our community.
We're starting to hear from analysts weighing in. RBC's Mark Mahaney telling us, quote, Snap looks better than expected, saying it's a clean beat and raise, at least in terms of earnings, but notes that the daily active user numbers are a tad disappointing. BTIG's Rich Greenfield saying, quote, the core problem remains the product, which is leading to less and less daily usage of Snapchat, which not only with a decline in Q3, but a decline forecast by Snap in Q4, we would continue to short the stock aggressively at these levels with a $5 price target. Now, Evan Spiegel just saying on the call right now that one of the upsides of the slight redesign that was so controversial, they do have many more users engaging with their premium content in its Discover section, but they also said they're working to monetize users' communication better. But Melissa, some analysts really pressuring Snap to explain where the problem is. Is it about marketing the service, or is it the product itself that just isn't designed to be used by more consumers? Back over to you.
Julia, thank you. Julia Boorstin back at headquarters with the lowdown on Snap. Again, an all-time low in the after-hours session. I want to ask a potentially stupid question, but this is one that I'm wondering.
There's no stupid questions on this desk, Mel.
Thank you, Tim.
I feel never asked
one. Safe zone. I will ask the question now. What is the difference between what we saw in terms of the decline in monthly active users in Twitter and Snap? Twitter had a beat and raise also. Snap had a beat and raise, and the market reaction is extremely different.
Well, I think with Twitter, they're taking a lot of actions to kind of get certain activity off of their platform.
They get the benefit of the doubt.
They get the benefit
decline
of the doubt.
in MAUs
and they actually saw a revenue increase. And so this is generally a closed platform. They need more engagement. They need people using these stories, Discover, all that sort of thing. I mean, listen, at this point, they just made a couple hires this week, one from Amazon, the head of product. I mean, I would expect some changes, at least how they try to monetize these users, but I think whatever Rich Greenfield just said, there's something wrong with the product.
Yeah.
I mean, because
after the redesign, the stock has not recovered. It's been an escalating
I know you stopped
downward.
using it then, Steve.
Well, I got to tell you, the 13 to 34-year-old, that's the ones. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's not for anyone on this desk. But it's still big with 13 to 34-year-olds. I'm actually still long the stock. And I'm suffering from it.
You're still long the stock.
I'm still long the stock.
Why do you still hold on to it after
Because
this?
I do believe eventually they are going to figure it out. I do believe it's a global story. I do believe that the administration underneath the leader, it feels a lot like Zuckerberg. This feels a lot like when he couldn't get it right in the beginning. This feels a lot like a lot of these tech companies that couldn't get it right.
But he wasn't facing a Zuckerberg competitor that was actually far outpacing.
That's duplicating everything they're doing and doing it better.
Go.
Well, to answer your stupid question, which wasn't a stupid question, I mean, Twitter, if you look at the environment we're in, the business model, I mean, Twitter makes money. Yeah. Snap doesn't. That's a big problem when you.
So Snap doesn't not only do they not make money, but they have a significant cash burn.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why the stock's going to the floor is because they have to raise more money. So this is a problem. So profitability is a big problem, and getting the product right. They Evan Spiegel put out this 15-page internal memo that got published and this and that, and it didn't really tell you anything. This is a couple weeks ago. They're basically saying we have to improve the product. Back to Rich Greenfield.
You just called him Evan Spielberg, though.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Spiegel. It'd actually be better if he was a Spielberg process. But bottom line here is I think this is a company that is judged on DAU growth and ARPU, and neither are going in the right direction.
I would just add one point. This company should not actually be public right now. When you think about the voting rights that Evan Spiegel has, you think about the valuations.
The burn
you think about the valuations in the private market.
There's nothing that a shareholder can do right now if they're unhappy about the stock.
It should not be a public company right now. And they'd probably be executing much better because I think there's been a lot of distractions with it.
For more on Snap, let's get back to Gene, who is, of course, in the trenches, fighting the good fight. Gene, what do you make of Snap?
Melissa, it's just simply a disaster here, and it's a disaster because at the end of the day, the key metric is daily active users, and as they gave some expectation to expect those daily active users to potentially decline, that is the last thing that investors who own a social network want to hear. The simple reason, even though analysts are trying to dig into what's causing that, is the product has a big competitor out there. And globally, they have this base of 2.5 billion. That obviously Facebook can mine that to turn them into Instagram users. And so, unfortunately, I'm always a big advocate for technology, innovation. Snap had its golden day when they came out with filters, but this market is very different today than it was a few years ago.
Carter, look at that chart. Tell us what you see.
Well, I mean, you know, well, let's look at the chart here. Take a look at the chart. So, it IPO'd. It was a Thursday. It was the 2nd of March, 2017. If your first day in life is your best day, that's not good. So I don't know about Snap, and I don't have Twitter. I still read newspapers manually, the printed kind. But I know this. This is a bad chart, right? We just heard the word disaster to my right, and you can't even draw in the lines. Basically, maybe it shouldn't be a public company. Maybe it won't be. This is a disaster. Yeah, a comedy act even.
Gene, are you in the Rich Greenfield short this stock aggressively camp?
I think there's a lot of bad news priced in. I'll just say this, is I don't see a reason to be long or short this. The risk of being short is if they show any sort of sign of life with the DAUs, the stock could be up 20%, and that's always a difficult thing to predict.
The men in the trenches say this thing's a disaster. Steve, you're still holding on to this.
Yeah, it could be a disaster.
What kind of time frame are you thinking when you say my time frame is longer term?
Well, you know, there were rumors, and they turned out to be false, that Google was taking a look at them. I think that whether or not Facebook can slam them and crush them like a bug, there's other people that might need this in their portfolio or this in their arsenal. So this is, to me, a $6.20 at this point lottery ticket for me, and it's an option. It's an expensive option.
Do you see Spiegel/Spielberg as a seller?
I would think that he would probably be a seller.
I would just say that Jack Dorsey is the CEO of two companies. Maybe he could be co-CEO of Twitter/Snap with Evan Spiegel, and the guys could kind of make a go at it that way.